Okay. Let's see. Remember that you can use your book, so flip back and look at what you need to correct. You can keep on working on your homework.
Oh yeah. Let's go.
And then I will make a copy of this real quick.
I missed the last one.
Now remember, while you're doing these, look back in your textbook, ask me for help. We're going to use this time to correct. And then we will start working on our other assignments as well. So as soon as you finish with your corrections, you can start working on that homework that we started talking about yesterday. Good morning. What we're starting out with, Keely, is we are making test corrections right now. I emailed you yours. Have you gotten it yet?
Probably so. Let me check real quick.
Okay, I was going to say, go ahead and check that, and we're going to start making corrections so you can use your book. Let me know if you have any questions. I've got to make a couple of copies real quick, so if you'll pull up your test, we'll start making corrections on that, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome, and I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm bad at geometry. I got every single one on the back. Angle bisect.
The outside. What? Number 12.
Yeah.
Never. Because angle bisector will intersect outside.
Yeah, I missed 2 calls. How many of you?
No.
Relax, dude.
Okay.
I made this one. That's how.
Nice. That was the exact drawing I had. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh,
How many do you miss, buddy?
no, number 2. Not really. That's fine. It's stuff I shouldn't have made.
It's not just.
Oh, what is that trick?
Oh, I got it. I got it.
Oh,
I got you. Ew, I got you.
you know, I can just do an LMS. Oh, what? Oh. You don't want any of this smoke.
Dude, how much are you reading?
I see what kind of fun.
Dude, we should have a dollar. We should have a dollar. I think this guy's
This
gone.
class.
This guy's gone.
Here. We have questions.
Absolutely, yeah, this is the time to ask questions. I know.
Yeah, I don't know what I did wrong.
So let's take a look.
Oh.
Okay. So Keely, as you're working on your corrections, if you need help and I'm not up here, you can yell for me. Once you've finished with them, you can go ahead and start on that homework assignment that I made yesterday. And then we'll pick up in just a little bit, okay? So just yell if you need anything.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So use the diagram to give me information. So I'm dealing with a triangle, okay? And it says that B is a centroid. Where do we talk about centroids? Now remember, these are practice problems. So we're looking at where it taught us about stuff. Okay, so talking about a centroid. Now look at this figure right here, okay? And so when I'm looking at a centroid, and I'm looking at how I can relate this information, okay? Now notice that what was our, when we talked about the concurrency of the medians of the triangle, which is called our centroid, our formula is 2/3 of AD. AP is 2/3 of AD. So notice when I'm talking about AP right here is 2/3 of this whole entire line. Okay, so when I'm looking at this whole entire line, so if you look at SU here, we know that this is going to be 5 is 2/3 of what? How would, okay, so SD is going to be 2/3 of SU. So I'm trying to figure out what, so basically you can say 2/3 of what is 5. How would you write that as an equation? When I say the word of, what operation does that mean? 2/3 of number. There's multiplication. So go ahead and write this as an equation, 2/3 of X equals 5. Okay. So how am I going to get rid of my denominator? Multiply everything by 3. Okay. So how am I going to get X by himself? Now, what operation is happening with 2 and X? How do you undo multiplication? What's the opposite of multiplication? Good. So like if I need to move something that's being added as subtract, I use inverse operations. So this is 2 times X equals 15. What am I going to do with 2? Divide by 2. So if I divide by 2 over here, I have to divide by 2 over here. Ooh. Seven, you can put 7.5 or 7.5. Okay, so we now know what this measure is. Okay, so now what we've got to do is we've got to look at if UT is 10, right there, RW is 6.25, SV is 5, and RS is equal to TS. Okay, so that means this side is equal to this side. Right? What do I know about medians? If this is a centroid and it's dealing with a median, what do I know about a median? What does it do to the side that it's intersecting? Splits it in half. So if this is a median right here and it splits this in half, what is the measure of WS? No, because 6.25 is just this section right here. So what do I know this section will be? Okay. If this is a median, you said it cuts this in half, right? So that means this side is congruent to this side, right? So if this is a median and it has cut this line in half, this side is equal to this side, right? What is the measure of this side? So what is this side? Good. Go ahead and label that. Okay, so if this is 6.25 and this is 6.25, and it tells me that RS is equal to TS. So what do I know each of these sections are? Good. And if this is a median that comes through and cuts this side in half, what do I know this measure is? What is this side? Good. So now we've labeled each of these. So let's take a look and see. I need to find ST. So ST is going to be what? Okay.
Oh, is that all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's done, right? Yeah, almost done. All right, now. And that was it. I'm choosing.
So what is SV? I'm sorry, SU. What did you say this whole measure would be? Put it down here. Now looking for UV is the next one. So U to V. If this was 5 and we know the total is 7.5, what is this measure here? What's my total? What did you just say that whole line is equal to? So does it make sense that this will be 12 and this will be 5 and that equals 7? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to equal. There you go. Okay. Now we need to find the perimeter of triangle RST. What did we say this side equals? Okay, what is this side equal? Okay. And what is this side equal? So then how am I going to find the perimeter? What do I do to find perimeter? What I'm supposed to do? Okay. All right.
Now.
Okay. Now we're looking at triangle. What do we call this when I write my line in the middle of my triangle? It is a median. Okay, I want you to find medians of triangles. Anybody have questions over here? Awesome.
I'm good.
You doing okay, Keely?
Yes, ma'am. I did have a question though.
What's you got?
So I corrected 28, but on 20 and 22 on the test, I just can't correct it.
Okay.
I just messed up the fractions and I was wanting it, but.
Okay, so look at number 20. I want you to go to the section in your book that is dealing with medians of a triangle.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you know about the median of a triangle? What is the formula?
So it's like the theorem that's in the 2/3 of it, 2/3.
Just a second, let me get to my page real quick. I'm sorry, I said a median, a mid-segment. I'm sorry, I said the wrong word.
No problem.
Sorry.
No
So
problem.
it's going to be on page 288.
Yes, ma'am. I see it now.
Okay, so what does my mid-segment theorem tell me? That the mid-segment is what of the base?
It's half.
Okay. All right. So my mid-segment is half of the base. So that means my mid-segment or my base is going to be 2 times the mid-segment, right?
Right. Okay.
So if I'm looking at number 20 and I have 3x minus 10 as my base, what do I know that is equal to as far as the median goes?
So you said number 20, right?
Yeah, this is number 20.
Okay. So 3x would be equal to x times 2. Or...
Good. So you'd have 3x minus 10 is equal to 2x. Or you could do 1/2 x is equal to 3x minus 10. You can either set it up either way. I'd rather deal with multiplication than dealing with a fraction. So anyway, or you'd say, I'm sorry, I said that backwards. You would say 1/2 of 3x minus 10 is equal to x, or you could say 2x is equal to 3x minus 10.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and set it up that way and work it, and then let me know.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then you're going to be doing the same thing with each of those on number 21 and 22. You're figuring out, do you say 2 times the median is equal to the base, or do you want to say half of the base is equal to the median? Okay. Mm-hmm.
I was confused on these.
Okay. The relation between the median and the base. Okay. But what else? What do I know as far as like the measure? How can I find the measure of this compared to this?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I'm going to be setting something equal to something. So I've got to figure out if I know this. How to take say this was compared to this.
Half.
Half. So half means it would take how many to equal this one? When I say half, how many pieces is that? Okay. But when I'm saying, say you have a candy bar and you broke it in half, how many pieces do you have?
2.
Okay. So how many of these segments would it take to equal this segment?
2.
There you go. So how could I set up that as an equation?
2x
equals
3x.
Solve it. And you're going to do the same thing. That is, you're figuring out how relationship.
Okay. Good.
All right. What number is on? Okay. So we just said, remember we said it. It's going to take 2 of these to equal 1 of these, right? Because we said this is half of this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to find what you're doing.
Okay, no, that was median. Now we're down the mid segment. Okay, we've got different rules for every different thing. So that's one of the things that you've got to be sure to start studying is what are the rules for the different things that we're dealing with. Okay, so if you know that this is half of this, then I need to set up an equation that compares these 2 things together. So how many of these did you say would equal? It would take to equal 1 of these. How many of these segments would it take to equal this one? Okay, so I could set that up as 2x is equal to 3x minus 10.
Okay,
Now solve for x. That's how each of these are. Setting it up, recognizing that your mid-segment is half of this. Okay.
On 21, I did that.
Okay, but so did you say that these equal this? When I say 2 of something, what does that mean I'm going to have to do operationally? If I have 2 4s, what table is that? 2, 4. So if I say I have 2 of these, what does that mean I'm going to have? So what is 2 times 2x? And what is 2 times 23?
492.
Okay. And so that is equal to.
This is how it would look.
But what else is there?
Oh,
What letter is that?
16.
I'm just saying, you wrote down 8. What did you forget to write? What is this right here? 8x. Yeah.
So this is how that one.
So that's how that one is. You're going to do the same thing here. This is, you need 2 of these to equal this one.
Yes.
You say 2 times 5x minus 3, whether it's distributive property. Any questions going on over here?
Wait, Miss Jennifer, because it's positive, would you like turn this negative into positive? It'd be like a positive 2. This is negative 3. Would you turn that into a plus 3?
Because you're multiplying by 2. So 2 times, so basically you're saying 2 times that. So distribute plus 4.
And we don't do it to this one, do we?
No, because it is 2 of these is equal to 1 of these.
Okay.
Okay?
So that would have Okay, thank you.
So you're solving for those.
And on 23, 24, 25, 26, I think on that one, did I just use the wrong signs?
Well, this one says give sides and give angles.
Yeah.
And this one says give angles and you gave sides. So you've got the,
So I need to change my signs.
you've got to make sure. And that's one of the things I was going to tell you guys. As you're listing angles, it needs to have the angle symbol. If you're talking about a side, it needs to have the 2 letters with a line over the top. So what'd you find for this one?
X equals 2.
Okay, and what'd you find for this one? How did you set this one up?
I set up 4x plus 46 equals 8x.
Good. What are you gonna do for this one?
I'm gonna set up 10x minus 6 equals x.
Good. How you doing? Any questions? Whoop, did you get that? You got your test corrected? Any questions? You sure? Okay,
Sure.
awesome. You can hang on to it for a minute and I'll take it up in a minute. So one of the things I want to be sure to encourage you is if you're not writing in your blue book and you're not remembering these things, if you're not remembering relationships, if you're not remembering the properties of each of these shapes that we're talking about, if you're not remembering how to set up these calculations, you've got to be practicing these, just like knowing that the mid segment of a triangle is half of the base. But when I talk about the mid segment of a trapezoid, remember how we do mid-segment of a trapezoid, I have to add my 2 bases together and divide by 2. So I've got different rules and different things for each type of shape I'm dealing with. So be sure that you're practicing these things. Make note cards, write down notes. Repeated writing helps it get into your brain a little bit better. So geometry is one of those things where you actually have to really study. Math, typically with algebra, you're just doing calculations and you're practicing. With geometry, not only do you have to learn your terms and learn the relationships, you also have to do the calculations too. So if you're struggling with that, make sure that you're really studying these theories to understand why you would set up an equation the way you would to find a problem. Because we have to put the algebra and the geometry together from finding missing links. Okay, so you said the first one, you would have 2 times x is equal to 3, x minus 10. You took away your x's, so you had negative x equals negative 10, so x is equal to 10. Here you took away your 46, so then you took away 8x, so you said 4x minus 8x is negative 4. That minus 46 divided by 4. And so that will be 11.5. Okay. And then what did I do for
31.
number 23?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so look at number 23. What did we learn about, so we're listing our sides in order from shortest to longest. How can I decide which side is my longest using the angles?
I know that D is the lowest, then C, and then A is and then H is bigger.
Okay, what is C?
90.
What is B? How can I figure out what A is? What do I know all three are going to add together to equal? Good. So what is 50 plus 90? So what is the measure of A?
Oh, I thought we just saw the
No, you've got to solve. You've got to figure out what it is. You've got to know. So what side is the smallest side? No. What is my rule about my angle? How do I decide which side is shortest? It is opposite the smallest angle. What side is opposite the smallest angle? BC. So I'd have to name this as BC with a line over it. Okay, remember the way that I decide sides is it's opposite my shortest angle. It's going to be my shortest side. What is my largest angle? Okay, so what is my longest side going to be? Okay. What side is opposite that angle? Opposite. No, honey, I'm not asking the measure. I'm saying if this is 90 degrees, my side opposite my largest angle is my longest side. Okay, so because this side is opposite the 90-degree angle, it is my longest side.
So would you write that like
We'll just start with your smallest side. What did we say is our shortest side? Remember, I'm looking at my angles. I'm going that way and then that way. Okay, so go ahead and write BC. So what would go in the middle? What's my middle?
Yes.
Good.
And the
That's your answer. Okay, now here we're doing the reverse of that. I'm looking at the measures of my sides to figure out what is my smallest angle. So 3, 5, and 4. What number is the smallest?
3.
So what is going to be my smallest angle?
JC.
No, honey, I'm talking about an angle now. I'm not talking about a side. What angle? What angle is opposite to 3? You understand what I'm asking when I say opposite? Okay, so just like we did this one, 50, my side here, opposite was over here.
Would be angle T.
It would be. So go ahead and write angle T. Okay. So then what's going to be your next one? Good.
Hard.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, and you're going to do these just like you did these. This one, you're doing opposite the angle.
Hello.
So here, what is this angle? Okay, so how can I figure out this one? All right, so what is my shortest side?
What's the numbers?
Right, wait, what are we? What's this do right now?
Good.
Oh.
Yes, and so you're going to do the same thing here. Okay.
Huh?
Or, I mean, or if you want to just circle those as your corrections, that's fine. Do you have anything on Wednesdays after geometry?
No.
And what about after biology, you leave? Hello, Mary Jane. Hello.
I'm my son. Jennifer.
Yes,
I
sir.
finished.
We are working on test corrections first, and then, starting that homework. You done? Awesome. Okay, one of the things I want to tell you guys, if y'all ever need to stay or if y'all ever need extra help on Wednesdays, especially, I got to figure out how that's going to work. Because on Wednesdays now, right after geometry, my ACT prep was only for a semester. So I have an open period after geometry on Wednesdays, but if you're needing help, please let me know so we can work together, okay? Make sure that if you're struggling with something, you're letting me know, all right? So once you finish your test corrections, I'll get ready and take those up in just a minute. And then you've had time to get started on that other homework. And I'll tell you what time is it? 9:12. What we'll do is after the break, we will continue. We're going to pick back up with section 6-7 dealing with areas of triangles and quadrilaterals. So I should have brought my face shield. I can't talk in this thing. So anyway, so we will start with 6-7 and get ready to wrap that up as well. I will give you the chapter 6 test that is going to be an open book test that will be due next week. And then we'll kind of talk through everything in chapter 6 that we need to know. What we'll do is we'll make a little study guide on what you need to know for chapter 6. I think that's something that I need to shift to and make sure that you guys, because I know we've got a lot in the chapters. And so after looking at this test and we're combining so many different pieces of information, we need to go ahead and make sure we've got some kind of little study guide or some kind of note, something to help you guys keep everything straight. Okay, so we'll take a few minutes. We've got about 7 minutes till the break, and so keep working on that, and then we'll start back with section 6-7. Yes. Awesome. Notes and everything.
It's like a note, but it's from like
something, whatever's associated with that section. You're just putting kind of what the main idea of that section is. Now, what about 6-3?
Oh, that worked. I couldn't find any notes. I just started off with it. It was right.
So they didn't teach you anything in 6-3?
But they did, but like there's nothing there.
Okay, but like, what I'm talking about is notes means what's the big thing from this chapter was about. So you could have 2 pairs of parallel sides, 2 pairs of opposite congruent angles. You can have, basically when I'm talking about notes from the chapter, I'm talking about the green boxes are going to be things that you need to write, something like that. Okay, so that's what I mean. Basically, the notes are to help you when you're doing the work. What was the chapter about to help you do the work? Okay, so go ahead and write down that. You good?
Yes. All
right. Did you have any questions or were you good?
I'm good.
Very good. Did you have any questions? Do we need to work on anything or you're good? Awesome. And then let's take a look at yours. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Okay, angle bisectors. In your book, go ahead and open up angle bisectors. In a minute, we might hear Feliz, or I guess it's Feliz Navidad. I was going to say Feliz Cumpleaños. Okay, so let's see, this is chapter 5 of the, yeah. So it's going to be, okay, medians, is this where we were? Or no, we were doing angle bisectors.
Yeah.
So go back in the section. Okay. So when we get to, this is perpendicular bisectors. So over here, we've got angle bisectors, okay? So what do we know about the angle bisectors? Every time you're seeing a bisector, where is it?
It is in the middle of the side.
Good, so my question is, the angle bisectors will blank intersect
Never.
outside. Good,
Okay.
there you go.
I do.
Okay, so 16. Let's take a look at 16.
So let's find ST. I struggled a lot with this question.
Okay, so let's take a look. If I'm trying to find ST,
Mhm.
what do I know about a median? When I have a median, what does it do to the side that it's intersecting?
It cuts me down.
Cuts it in half. So if I'm looking at this line here,
Mhm.
this line here, this line here, what has it done to each of my sides?
It's cut me down.
Cut it in half. So if this side is 6.25, what is this side?
6.25.
There you go.
Okay. I thought it was 5 because I thought this side was equal to that side and that
No,
side.
yeah. So with your medians, it cuts the side in half.
Okay.
So what does that mean this side
This
is?
side is also 6.25.
Good. All righty. So now it says we're looking for ST. So S to T is going to be what?
This plus this.
Uh-huh.
$7.50.
That's a
Oh.
6 plus 6.
6. 12.50.
There you go. Good.
So this one was 12.50.
Uh-huh. You were so close, and that's how I looked at it, and I realized what you had done as far as that one more
I was
measurement.
so stuck on this one. I was like, there is something that I'm missing here, and I don't know what it
So
was.
because of that measurement being off there, it
Yeah.
messed up this number
Right.
19. So if this side is 12.5, this side is 12.5,
Right. So we're looking for RST.
and then we've got to do this side because we're doing perimeter
So
now
this is 12.5 plus 12.5.
as well.
We have 0,
Mhm.
4, and 2. So 24.
You remember if you, go ahead and just jot it over here.
Okay.
And also, if we're doing
Sorry, I
perimeter,
understand.
it's fine. No, I'm right there with you. But also with perimeter, how many sides do I have of a triangle?
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so if this is 12.5 and this is 12.5, what's the measure of this side?
12.5. No,
What are your measurements?
10 and this is 20.
Okay,
So this side is 20.
okay. So go ahead and add this one, and then you're just gonna add 20 to that. There you go.
Which is
There you go, that one.
Okay,
Nope, look at that again.
this part down.
I know.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, so that's that side plus that side. Now we need to add that side.
So we add 20 to this.
Mhm.
Put that in the wrong place. Let me find this. Bring down your 0, 5, and 4. So 4, 5.
Very good. Because where's your this one?
All right, back here.
And then I'll come back and look at you too. Yes. Okay. All right. On the area of the polygon, what is my formula for a triangle?
A equals half.
Okay. A equals half BH. What is my base?
5,
What is my height?
7,
What's 5 times 7?
12,
Nope, that's addition.
35,
What's that? Make 35.
17.5.
There you go. 1/2 base times height. Multiply your base times height, divide by 2.
So I'm trying to figure out if K would also equal 82. So like, I would try and like J now would be.
What is our rule? What is our rule about trapezoids? All right, y'all can take a break. What is my rule about trapezoids and the base angles? Is it's an isosceles trapezoid? Look right here, isosceles trapezoids. If a trapezoid has a pair of congruent base angles. Okay, so here, if a trapezoid is isosceles, then each pair of base angles is congruent. Okay, so it says pair of base angles. If this is a base, then these angles are congruent. If this is a base, these angles are congruent. Okay.
The class is here.
Good. I know. So we gotta figure that out. So what do you know, which angle can we figure out based on this? Which one is congruent to this one?
J.
J, okay, now, so we know J is 82. Now we've got to figure out L. So notice this, what,
I figured that would be 98.
why?
So that's wrong. Wait, no, it's right, yeah. It's 98 plus 82.
Because remember, my consecutive sides of the quadrilateral equal 180. So that way, if I know this is 82, I know this is 82, and I know 180 minus 82 is 98, and if this one's 98, then what is this one? Good. Yeah. So it's understanding those relationships, knowing that a trapezoid is a quadrilateral, so I've still got the same rules there. Oh. Okay. All right.
What I was trying to do is for this problem right here, I was trying to figure out what I did wrong.
Okay.
So I wrote that we know that this line right here is half of this line here.
Okay.
So this would equal 4x,
Uh-huh.
right?
And so that would be 4x.
Yes.
But what about this right here, plus 23? What do you also have to do with that?
I said it equal to 4x because we know that this is equal to 4x.
No.
Okay.
Okay. So I think what you've done is you've got it backwards.
Okay.
Okay. How many of these mid segments would it take to equal one of these?
2.
2 of them. So what does that mean? So I'm going to have 2
Okay.
times.
So 2 times. And then we just do this twice because this
No,
is
hold on a second.
this
No.
is the same thing as
No.
saying.
No, we're not saying, we're not multiplying that by itself. We just have to multiply it by 2.
Okay.
So put a 2 and then parentheses. 2x plus 23.
Okay.
It equals
4x.
8x.
8x.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because it's 2 of these. You were taking half of this side.
Okay.
There we go. So 2 of these equals 1 of these.
Okay.
So now you're going to have to distribute.
This would be 4x.
Mm-hmm.
And 23 times 2, or yeah, 23 times 2 is 46.
Good.
And plus here is 8x.
Okay.
Then we want to try to get 8x, or no, this 4x over here, so that we can get the x's
Okay.
together.
Okay.
Then we have 46 is equal to 4x.
Good.
Divide both sides by 4. And trying to think
You can already see it's not going to be perfect, right? But how many
Yeah.
times will 4 go into 4?
4 and 4 one time.
Okay. And so we know we have nothing left over. Then we bring down the 6. How many times will 4 go into 6? And if you want to
Only
go
one
ahead
time.
and just draw a division problem down here. Just do
Okay.
4 into 46.
This will go in one time, and this will only go in one time because 4 times, yeah, 4
So what's
times
4 times 11?
4 times 11 is 44.
Okay, so put underneath that 46, but minus 44.
With a remainder of 2.
Okay, so what do we need to do to solve it? Go ahead and add a decimal after 46, put a decimal and a 0. Now after 46, add a decimal
Okay.
and a 0. Now bring that 0 down.
And the 20, and the 4 will go to 25.
Now where's your decimal in your answer?
Decimal goes.
Now remember your decimal is in your answer at the top. It's going to be right above.
Right
There
here.
you go.
Okay, so it's 11.5.
There we go.
This is 20. Perfect. Okay. 11.5.
There you go.
Okay.
Good job.
That makes sense. these problems were a little bit tricky. I was trying to I think it was just something that I was supposed to try to remember that I didn't get.
Well, and the whole thing is knowing that in this section, that this is 2/3 of the whole thing. So you, and it said, knowing centroid means you have to know median. So if you know median, you have to know the rules about a median and about a triangle dealing with medians. Okay.
There were any congruent lines.
Right.
I didn't know what was congruent, what wasn't.
So it was the kind of thing where you had to understand if a median bisects a side, it cuts it in half. Therefore, my 4 hours.
Yeah.
So they were expecting you to know that information.
Okay.
So those are the little things that we're going to be better about doing in the study guide and saying, okay, if this is what it is.
Hey, what?
All righty, so we will get ready and start with um 6, 7. And I forgot to drop these in if anybody wants to.
Ooh. Elizabeth's eyes is looking at the It is big. It'll be okay. This guy's eyes opened up so much. This guy said.
All right, so these are cocoa flavored, and then these, the green ones are mint.
I remember.
Then we have strawberry something, and then birthday fish, I think is blue. So you can get one of those, and then I've got some.
Thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome. And then I have something for each of you because y'all have been very bad this year, and y'all each get a lump of candy.
What?
Tell your math teacher, babies, and home.
You want strawberry? Cold is my favorite. I love cold. My favorite. Ooh, cold, Carl. Yeah, free cold.
And then if you want strawberry candies, I've got these y'all can come down.
I will put that.
These remind me of grandma's house.
I got you. What's our good question? And I might.
No candy cane?
I remember something from last
Do I want candy cane?
I'm not gonna eat this right
Yeah, I think that one is the strawberry.
These
mint
are
chocolate
my
chip
childhood right
strawberry
here.
and birthday cake.
These were amazing. No. This used to be like my
Can I get strawberry candies? These are strawberry candies? Strawberry candies?
I'm good.
They're amazing.
They've got gook in the middle. Anybody want strawberry candies with gook in the middle?
I just said that.
Okay.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes.
Oh. 19.
No, you would see what you did.
I don't remember.
Okay, mid segments of a trapezoid. Mid segment of a trapezoid. Remember, everything that we've got homework on, we have gone somewhere in the textbook. So go back and find it.
Oh, wait, I remember this one.
So my mid segment, remember, it's 1/2 of the bases added together.
Yes, I'll make
So
sure.
I have to add this one plus this one and divide by 2 to get this one.
9, 16, that'd be 8.
There you go. Good.
That's a lot easier than that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get started on 6, 7. Let's see.
Thank you for your service.
Miss Jennifer,
Yes,
your turn, please.
I will. Yes.
That's right. You're my son. You're my doctor.
Sorry.
So I like it, and this one's like, and it's a parallelogram. And the formula is.
It was mine.
Parallelogram is A to B.
I'm sorry.
So,
Okay, so what
wait, base times?
BH together means I'm multiplying. Okay, base times height. Anytime I have variables side by side with no symbol in between them, I am multiplying. If I have a number next to a variable with no symbol in between them, I understand that it is multiplication. Okay? All righty.
That makes so much sense now.
You good?
Yeah, I just did number 3 too.
Perfect. Thank you.
X is equal to 2 for 22, right?
What'd you say for?
I just want to make sure I did that one right. Right here.
Okay, so 22, we were dealing with this one. So you said 2 times 5x minus 3 is equal to x plus 12, 10x minus 6. You added 6. 10x is equal to 18.
Just subtract x because
Subtract x, so you know that x is equal to 18.
Yes.
Okie dokie. So in this section, we talked about in 6-7, we were dealing with our areas of triangles and quadrilaterals. And then we moved on to work on an area of a kite and a trapezoid and a rhombus. Okay, so we wrote down all the notes for our area formulas. We know that rectangle is area equals what?
Oh, base times height.
Area equals base times height. So I know A equals BH. Okay, this is for a rectangle. What do I know about a triangle? Area equals, what's my formula for a triangle? 1/2 base times height. Remember, when I see these all together, that means I multiply each of them, okay? Remember that multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2, okay? What about my parallelogram? What's my formula for a parallelogram? All of this is on page 372. Area equals base times height. So a parallelogram and a rectangle have the same formula. Triangle is 1/2. What about a trapezoid? Area equals look on page 374. 374. Trapezoid area equals
1/2 height times base 1 plus base 2.
okay, we take half of the height times the bases added together. So basically I can add my bases, multiply by height, divide by 2. What is my formula for a kite and a rhombus?
The area of a kite is 1/2 D1 times D2.
What does that mean? What does D stand for?
Distance.
No, look at, what does it say on 374?
Diagonal.
Diagonals. So with a kite and with a rhombus, I'm using my diagonals, okay? So these are formulas that you must memorize. You need this information. You will need it on the ACT. So if you're planning on taking the ACT, if you memorize these now, it's going to help you later. You'll have less studying to do. All righty. Let's go ahead and take a look. Did I give y'all an assignment on this section yet? Oh, we were going to pick up with example 6. Let's look at example 6 for just a minute.
Where is that?
It is on page 375. So turn to page 375.
Oh yeah, it's like the roof.
So 375, we talked about how this was our roof. And to find the area of the whole entire thing, I have got to find the area of each part and add it together. So I'm going to take this and turn it. I need to lower that.
What page is this on?
375 maybe, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so when I'm looking at this, I'm going to start with side K. What kind of figure is K?
Where does it say K?
K is a trap.
Do you see the red letter K
K is a trap.
in the top of the house?
Example 6. Sorry, I was on the wrong thing.
Basically, I'm looking at this one right here. If you want to look up here, I'm looking at K. It's a trapezoid. What is my formula for a trapezoid?
A equals half H parentheses B1 plus B2.
Okay, 1/2 H times B1 plus B2. Okay, so if that's my formula, what are my bases added together here? What are my bases of K? What are the base measurements for K?
42 and 30.
42 and 30, right? What is my height for K? 12. So I'm going to have 1/2 times 12 times 30 plus 42. What is 30 plus 42? 72. So when I look at this, I've got now 1/2 times 12 times 72. What I like to do is go ahead and say, okay, I want to cut one of those numbers in half. So what is half of 12? 6. So now I have 6 times 72. And what is 6 times 72? What's 6 times 2? That'd be 12, and I'd carry my 1, and 6 times 7 is?
42.
Plus the 1 I carried.
43.
So now I know that K is equal to 432. Is everybody good with that? So I can look over here, and that was right there. Now let's look at letter H. H, what are my two bases? When I look at H, what are my two bases? 42 and 50. What is my height? 15. What is my formula?
K is equal to 1/2 H.
1/2 H times B1 plus B2. So if I look down here where they've given us H, I have 1/2 the height times B1 plus B2. I'm going to add B1 and B2. So 42 plus 50 is going to be what? 92. So remember, it's the kind of thing where you can use a calculator. My recommendation is that you write your blank formula before you get started. You know that it's 1/2 H times B1 plus B2. Plug in the values that you know. So we find that the area of H is 690 feet. Yes.
You have two bases, and then it'll list what bases out. Doesn't matter if you like switch.
Commutative property tells me that the order does not matter. I'm adding them together. So either way, when I add them together, it's not going to matter. Look at G on the side. Again, what kind of shape do I have? What is G?
Trapezoid.
Trapezoid. So my formula is area equals 1/2 H times B1 plus B2. So we can see right below it, they plugged in that information. So they found that the area of G is 1/2 times 15 times 20 plus 30. 20 plus 30 is 50. So 1/2 times 15 times 50 is 375. Now the thing to notice is that we had to find the area for each of these shapes. Okay, so we can see that they found the area of J to be 90 feet squared, the area of G to be 375 feet squared, the area of H is 690 feet squared, and the area of K is 432 feet squared. I'm going to take those all and add them up to be the total area. Okay, so to be able to find the total area of the roof, I had to find each of the sides they gave us and then add them up. Now, they didn't tell us to find the sides that we couldn't see, so we didn't have to worry about that. We're just focusing on the sides that we can see. Okay, Easton?
Can you just put in half of the height?
Yeah.
You have to put the half times 15, or can you just put 7.5?
Yeah, you can do 7.5. Basically, you're just finding half of one of the numbers and then multiplying, because remember, multiplication is also commutative. So it doesn't matter which order I'm multiplying in. I'm just multiplying all of those numbers together. So I find the area of each individual shape and then I add them together. So now let's go ahead and take a look at our guided practice. So let's all turn to page 376. 376. When I talk about the mid-segment of a trapezoid, what does that mean? What is the mid-segment of a trapezoid?
It's the segment in the middle.
The segment in the middle. So what is my formula for finding the measure of a mid-segment? Half of the bases added together. So remember, with a triangle, like on test 5, you had to do half of the base was the mid-segment. With a trapezoid, I have to add my bases together and then find half of that, okay? Let's look at the next section. It says match the region with a formula for its area. Look at region 1. What kind of shape do I have there? Yeah. It is a square. What is my formula for the area of a square?
Side times, no.
It's going to be side times side, or I can represent it as side squared, right? So side times side is the same as side squared. So which A, B, C, or D, or E? A. Side squared would be region 1. Look at region 2. What kind of shape do I have in region 2? No. What do I know about 2? I've got 2 pairs of parallel sides. What kind of shape has 2 pairs of parallel sides?
Quadrilateral.
It is a quadrilateral, but it's a special type of quadrilateral. It's going to be a parallelogram. 2 pairs of parallel sides is a parallelogram. What is my formula for area of a parallelogram?
A equals base times height.
Base times height. Good. Look at region 3. What kind of shape do I have?
Triangle.
Triangle. What's my formula?
A equals 1/2 base times height.
A equals 1/2 BH. What is number 4? What kind of shape do I have? A kite. What is my formula for a kite?
1/2 D1 times D2.
Area equals 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Number 5, what kind of shape do I have? Trapezoid. What's my formula for a trapezoid?
A equals 1/2 height times base 1 plus base 2.
Good. Area equals 1/2 height times base 1 plus base 2. Okay? You need to know those equations. So let's look at number 8. If my formula of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, what is my base in number 8? Number 8, what is my base?
7,
What is my height?
1,
What is 7 times 4?
28,
28. What's half of 28?
14.
14. So the area for number 8 is 14. Look at number 9. I have a square. What is my formula?
It'll be 5 times 5.
It'll be 5 times 5, which is
25.
25. Look at number 10. What is my formula?
It's a parallelogram, so it's going to be A equals base times height.
Base times height. What is my base?
9,
What is my height?
4,
9 times 4 is?
No, 30.
Close. 36. Number 11. What kind of shape?
Height? No, this is
How many congruent sides does it have?
4.
4. Do I have right angles? Does it mark right angles?
No.
So therefore I know it's not a square. So what other shape is like a square, but it has 4 congruent sides? Rhombus. What's my formula for a rhombus?
1/2 D1 times D2.
1/2 D1 times D2. What is diagonal 1? Which one could I pick? It doesn't matter which one I pick.
4.
Okay, half of it is 4, so what's the whole diagonal?
8.
8. What's the other diagonal?
10.
So I'm doing 1/2 times 8 times 10. What is half of 8?
4,
What's 4 times 10?
40.
Good. So on that one, you're just doing 1/2 times 8 times 10. Okay, so you've got to look at the total measure of each diagonal. 4 plus 4 is 8. 5 plus 5 is 10. So 1/2 times 8 times 10. 8 times 10 is 80. So half of 80 is 40. Or you could say half of 8 is 4 and 4 times 10 is 40. Either way. Number 12. What shape do I have?
Height.
Height. What is my formula?
1/2 D1 times D2.
All right. What is diagonal 1? What do you want diagonal 1 to be?
2 plus 10.
Is
12.
12.
Plus 12.
So both of them are 12. So 2 plus 10 is 12 and 6 plus 6 is 12. What is half of 12? 6. What's 6 times 12?
72.
72. Okay. Look at number 13. What kind of shape do I have?
Rhombus.
Rhombus has 4 congruent sides. They have not shown us that any of these sides are congruent. What kind of shape, what do I know based on my picture?
We have 2 parallel sides.
I only have 2 parallel sides. What kind of figure has 2 parallel sides? Trapezoid. A parallelogram has 2 pairs of parallel sides. So I would see arrows. I would see 2 sets of arrows in a parallelogram. 1 set of arrows means a trapezoid. So why did they come outside this figure to show this right here? My figure that I'm talking about is only the blue. Everybody look up here for a minute. The figure we're talking about is only the blue. Why did they extend this out here? What was the purpose? To show my right angle, and my right angle indicates which measure? The height. I couldn't find, I guess they could have put a diagonal here. I mean, they could have put a little dotted line here to show us height inside the figure. They were just showing us the height outside the figure. Remember, my height is always going to have that right angle to show me height because of right angle, because it's going to be the perpendicular. So what is my formula of a trapezoid?
A equals half the height times D1 plus D2.
Okay, so in this one, 1/2, what is my height?
14. Sorry. 6.
6. Now, what will let B1 be the top base? What measure is that?
8.
8. What is my bottom base?
4.
All right, so I have 1/2 times 6 times 8 plus 4. What is half of 6?
3.
What is 8 plus 4?
12.
And what's 3 times 12? 3 times 12? 36. Okay, so you're looking at each of these formulas to be able to solve. So that's what we're going to be doing. And 13 through 28.
Did you do 14? Just give an example of that.
Mhm.
So I get it wrong.
Yeah, hang on just a second. 13 through 28. All right, so let's look at number 14. What kind of shape do I have?
Triangle.
It's a triangle. What is my formula for the area of a triangle?
A equals 1/2 BH.
1/2 BH. Okay, what is my base measurement in this triangle?
7.
No, my base. 5 is my base. What did I say? I know when I have a height, my height, I can see that right angle. Okay, so if I were to turn this around and set it up, it would be sitting on the 5. So 5 is my base. Okay, my height is 7. Even if you identified those incorrectly, you're still going to get the right answer. What is 5 times 7?
35.
So I have 1/2 times 5 times 7. So area equals 1/2 of 35. What's half of 35?
Yeah.
17.5. Good. So you could look at that basically and say, okay, what is half of 36? That would be 18. What's half of 34? That would be 17. So half of 35 is 17.5. Okay. You're just using your formulas. So numbers 14 through 19, it's either going to be a square, a triangle, a rectangle, parallelogram. Okay, that's going to be the formulas you're using here. Look at number 18 for a minute. Look at number 18. What kind of shape is this?
Square.
What is it? A rhombus. What did we learn our formula for a rhombus is?
A equals half of B1 times B2.
Do I have any diagonals drawn on here? No, so I don't know my diagonal measures. So if I have a rhombus and I don't have diagonals, I'm going to treat it as a parallelogram. Okay, so if you have a rhombus with no diagonals, use your formula for a parallelogram, base times height. But notice on number 25, notice how number 18 and 25, my shapes look very similar, right? Does everybody agree with that? Numbers 18 and 25 look similar in shape, and they've identified 4 congruent sides. But in number 18, they gave us a base and a height. Number 25, they have not given me a base or a height, they've given me diagonals. So therefore, I am going to use my formula for a rhombus, which is 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Now look at 26, 27, and 28. They have told me the area, and I have to find my missing piece. So you're going to set up an equation using your area equals base times height. Plug in the measure that you see for area. and solve for either the base or the height or the diagonal or whatever it is you're missing, okay?
And did you also give us 36 through 238 and 41 to 43?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to, did we do 32 through 34 or not? No, okay. Let's look at numbers 35 through 38. What kind of shapes do I have in 35? What kind of shape is number 35? It's a rhombus. Okay, I've got 4 congruent sides. So notice those lines on the outside are telling me what the diagonal measures are. So basically, if it says it's 3 feet, that means that my diagonal this way is 3. My 2 feet tells me my diagonal this way is 2. So when, even though they have the measure outside the figure, it's telling me the measure what it would be inside. Look at number 36. I have 2 shapes here. What 2 shapes do I have in 36? I have a triangle and a rectangle. So I have to find the formula of the triangle. I have to find the formula of the rectangle and add them together. Everybody follow? Triangle, rectangle, add them together. Look at number 37. How many sides does this figure have? 6. So how would I name it as a polygon? What's a 6-sided figure called? Hexagon. Hexagon. Do I know a formula for a hexagon? No, but I can see that it's been cut in half. So half of the hexagon is a trapezoid. So I've got 2 congruent trapezoids. So I'm going to have to find the area of one and then multiply by 2. Okay? Or you can just add trapezoid 1 to trapezoid 2. Look at number 38. 38, what 2 shapes do I have?
Square and a
Trapezoid.
Okay, it's not a square because notice I've got 16 going this way and 20 going this way. So it's going to be a rectangle. So I've got a rectangle and a
You're gonna add
trapezoid. Now, I've got to figure out the height of my trapezoid. How can I do that? Look at this figure here.
We've got 21, so we know that the height is 1 because we knew that the height of the rectangle is 20 inches.
Is that the height of the rectangle?
No, 16. So we
16 is my height of my rectangle. So I've got to find the height of this.
It's 5.
So if this is 16 and the total is 21, 21 minus 16 is 5. So I know the height of my trapezoid is 5. Okay? They didn't specifically tell you that. They're expecting you to understand that you've got to subtract to find that height is going to be 5.
I have a question. Is the rectangle's area the same as the square's area? I mean, not, yeah, the area like for.
Well, a square is side squared, which is side times side.
Right.
So basically in this situation, I mean, side times side, you're doing 16 by 20. We just call it base times height when it's a rectangle. You can still call it base times height when it's a square. You just are dealing with the same numbers. Okay, so really there's not a necessity to learn a square separately because it's still going to be base times height. Okay. And now let's look at 41, 42, and 43. Pythagorean theorem. What is Pythagorean theorem? A squared plus B squared equals C squared, or if you wanted to reverse it and have C squared equals A squared plus B squared. What has to be consistent for each of these? Hypotenuse has to be C. How do I know which side is my hypotenuse? Opposite the right angle. So if I'm setting up number 41 and I've got A squared plus B squared equals C squared. what can I pick for either A or B?
6.
I can have 6 squared for A. I don't have B squared. Equals, what is my measure for C?
10.
10. So 10 squared. So what I've done is I said, I've got C. I'm going to let that be A. I do not have a measure here, and I do have a measure here. So A squared is 6 squared. B squared, I don't know. I know that C is 10, so I've got 10 squared. I'm going to bring this over here so I've got a little bit of room. Let me erase. There we go. All right, so if I have A squared plus B squared equals C squared, and I've got 6 squared plus B squared equals 10 squared. What is 6 squared?
36.
36 plus B squared equals, what's 10 squared? 100. So I've got 36 plus B squared equals 100. What needs to move?
Square.
I'm trying to isolate B squared. That's what I'm solving
Let's
for.
try 36.
So I need to take 36 away from each side. So B squared is equal to, what's 100 minus 36?
No, 64.
64. Now, I've got B squared equals 64, but I need to solve for B.
Square root. Both
Take the
sides.
square root of both sides. So the square root of B squared is B, and the square root of 64 is 8. So set it up. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Plug in the 2 sides that you know. Solve for the side you do not know. Do not forget in that last step, though, you're solving for a single variable, not the variable squared. So to be able to solve for it, you have to take the square root of each side. Okay?
Where is the Pythagorean theorem in our book?
In your book, let's see.
Is it in the back?
Yeah, but I don't have that.
Well, you're just not as cool as me.
All I had was this.
And
I'm
on
assuming
those
it
ones,
was
you have to
girl.
use it.
Okay, so let's look.
Hannah Hayes. She said the love baby. I'm kidding. I was confused.
Okay, so what you would have to do is you would have to go to the glossary and look up. Now, here was a place that said so here's formulas. Let's see. There's nothing that if you've already turned in 6, 1, 2, 3, and 4, that's all you're handing in. But you don't for today's you're just gonna hang on to it. Diagram here. Okay. So there are formulas in your book on page 842, or you can also look it up in your glossary. Okay. So yeah, you just have to use it in your formula section. So what you may want to do is if you don't have that little flap in the back of your book, you may want to get a sticky note so you can always refer back to that. Or you write it in your blue folder that I gave you, and then you got it in there too. Okay. Let's check our time. 10:04. We've got about 11 minutes.
So you don't want us to turn it over everything?
The homework that you're working on right now, you're not going to turn it in just yet because if you didn't finish it, everybody's not going to have a chance to finish it right now necessarily. Some people may. Is everybody done with the homework?
I have to.
Okay, so hang on to it.
The homework video.
The 6-1 through 6-4. Perfect. Does anybody else have homework from 6-1 to 6-4? Thank you. If anybody else has homework from 6-1 to 6-4 to hand in.
Miss
All
Jennifer,
right.
need to text mine
Yes.
to you or email it or
That would be great. Thank you. Yes, 6-1 through 6-4.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you. Yes.
You gotta ask me a question on it.
Yes. Hang on just a second. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Okay. I was going to plan on giving you guys the chapter 6 test to take home today, but I think I want to take it apart and I want to break it down a little further. It is open book. I will be emailing you that test either this afternoon or tomorrow morning. Okay. It is due by next Thursday. It is open book, due next Thursday. Okay. If you have questions, let me know. We'll set up a Zoom and work one-on-one if you're struggling, okay? Let me know if you need help. Yes.
Okay, 42.
Mhm.
13. So what do I do with those?
Okay, what kind of shape is that?
And
It is a kite, okay? So, it says define the area. Now, if I don't know this diagonal, I can't necessarily use that, right? But what do I know the measure of this side is?
13.
Okay, what do I know the measure of this side is? Okay, how could I find that measure?
What is that, 8 or 12?
No, 8 goes along with that. Okay, so this is broken into 4 triangles, right? 4 right triangles. What formula can I use if I have right triangles and I'm missing a side?
Well, Pythagorean
Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to have to use the Pythagorean theorem to find out the measure of that right there. Once I know the measure of that, then I can figure out my diagonal here. I know I measure my diagonal there.
So I'm gonna write 13 squared plus b squared.
Now look at it. Okay, if I'm looking at this shape, which side is my hypotenuse?
13.
Okay, so you have 13 squared equals a squared plus b squared. So what do you want to be a and b? So you got one of those.
I think 12 is b squared.
Okay. All right, what's 13 squared? What is 10 squared? Okay, so 13 squared. Think about what's 3 squared?
9.
9. I know it's going to end with a 9, right? It's going to be 13 times 13. What's 13 times 10?
100
Okay, and then what's 13 times 3?
39.
So add those together. What?
100 and I give it to you. That's 42.
You said 130 and 39.
Oh, so 160.
169. 13 squared is 169. Equals a squared plus 12 squared.
142.
Okay. All right, now what?
That's 144.
Mm-hmm. So what is A? Okay, so what is the measure of this little section here?
5.
5. So what is my whole diagonal?
10.
10. So that diagonal is 10. What is this diagonal?
20.
20. So my formula for a kite is 1/2 diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. Okay, so go ahead and write 1 d1 times d2. Not plus times. Okay, so what's 10 times 20? Half of that? Okay. Now remember that if they do not give you measurements, if you don't have feet, inches, miles, whatever, that you're going to use units squared. That's one of the things I have not told you very well in this section is make sure that after you write your answer for area to put units squared, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break this test down a little bit to more step-by-step instructions for each problem. So like I said, I will send that out this afternoon, first thing in the morning. It'll be due next Thursday. If y'all have questions, be sure to let me know. What I'll do is it'll be due next Thursday. I'll send you corrections, and that will actually be our first grade for the next semester, for the next quarter, or whatever we want to call it, the next grading period, okay? So our last grading period grades will be the batch of homework I took up, 6, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the Chapter 5 test. Those are our last grades for this grading period. 6 will start the next grading period. Lucas?
So will we just turn in the homework that we're doing right now, or what they're doing right now with the test, or?
What I'm gonna do is I will send you the homework answers to make sure that everybody has the right answers.
Okay.
I want you to check that homework, make sure you understand it before you do the test, okay? There's no sense in doing a test if you're messing up on the homework. So we'll send that, ooh, popped myself in the face. I will send the homework answers to make sure we've got that first. And then hang on to that homework, and I may or may not take it up. I probably will not take it up. Okay, so that is just for you to have to check your homework to make sure you're ready for the test.
What is the homework? I've already done 5, 1 through 5, 4.
Okay, 6, 1 through 6, 4.
Yes.
And then we said that we've got okay. So let's see. Through 24, 28 through 33, and then on
6, 7, 8, 376. 376.
what about 6, 6 on 368?
Oh, do we have anything?
368 homework.
Do we have 6, 6? Because all I had was
What was on page 368? Nothing 368, 369?
Yes, we did.
Okay, and then 6, 7, this was what we were working on today, and we did
14 through 28, 36 to 38, and 41 to 43.
14 through 28. Okay, I'll send out an email with everything condensed together.
Okay.
To make sure that you've got it all, to make sure that you're ready for the test. All righty, I hope everyone has a wonderful break. Enjoy your Christmas. Merry Christmas. I will see you guys next year. All right, Keely, let me know if you need help with anything. I'll be sending an email with everything, and we'll get this semester wrapped up.
Sounds good. Thank you, Miss Jennifer.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. 2021. You follow me, fool?